Greetings and salutations.
Okay, way to steal my intro there, buddy. But yes, welcome to another Sludcast after, don't remember when was the last time we did it. Back when Smash Ultimate, June.
Yeah, E3.
Yeah, when Smash Ultimate came out. So, Smash Direct was announced a week ago, and we like riding the hype train really late, so we're doing this late as well.
Yeah, but that's okay because all the cool people always arrive late at things, or so I've been told, right?
Sure. Okay, so as we stated before, we're talking about the Nintendo Direct. What is it about the Nintendo Direct that we're going to be talking about, my dear slut friend?
So we're going to be talking about a lot of things that were shown in the Direct. So mostly the characters, the new features that were presented, like Stage Morph, and some things that we saw in the Direct that might have been hinted at or were not explicitly talked about in depth.
Alright, so, and much like the E3 one, this time we also have a list. We're going to first talk about the characters that were announced in the Direct. First up is Simon Belmont. So, what do you think from spectators' point of view, I guess? How did you feel that Simon Belmont was added into the roster?
I feel that it wasn't much of a surprise because, I don't know, there were like a lot of leakers that were talking about it, and with how Nintendo's been with third parties lately being more, what's the word, they've been more liberal with it. They've been, okay with adding other third parties from the same companies. So I wasn't really surprised. Like, we saw that with Bayonetta, with Sega, we saw it with Street Fighter, not Street Fighter, we saw it with Ryu from Capcom. So this wasn't that much of a surprise for me, at least.
Yeah. Much like Ridley, I didn't think they were going to add Simon Belmont ever. I know people really wanted Simon Belmont. Gavin was actually one of those people who really wanted Simon in it. And I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen. Like, it's like Konami. I guess Capcom was one thing, but I do not think. Was it Konami that made Castlevania? Yeah, Konami. I didn't think Konami was actually going to offer their a character from their IP, but much to my surprise, way to go. Simon looks interesting. Simon's gameplay looks interesting, though I'm not sure if he's like my type of character, but he does like have a lot of range, and he looks like he might have like projectiles and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he has a lot of all of his special moves except his up special projectiles. I think he's just mostly going to be a donor.
Yeah, one of my
the donor of the donors, like more so than Mega Man.
I think it's also pretty adorable that they added like an ability that not an ability, but like sort of that he can move his whip around, like kind of like what Sheik was able to do back in the days. But you could do that in Super Castlevania, which I thought was pretty funny. And they decided to add that in the game, seeing as how that's such like a minor feature.
Talking about that, actually, a lot of Simon's moves are actually borrowed from Richter from Castlevania Rondo of Blood, I think is what it's called.
So all Simon's moves are really Richter's moves?
No. A lot of them a few of them they borrowed from each other. Like, for example, the up special, which is the uppercut, that's something from Richter. The backflip animation, that's also from Richter. Let's see, there are a few other things, but I can't remember the top of my head. Those are the ones that I know for sure. Were borrowed from Richter, but everything else I think was just straight up from Simon.
Okay.
Also, no one is talking about how we have Fabio in Smash finally. For those of you who don't know, Fabio is a male model who actually did the cover for one of the Castlevania games that Simon was featured as protagonist. And he's just sitting there with like a whip, and like, I don't know, it's basically like how he looks like now in Smash. We have Fabio in Smash, yay.
So who wants to bet money someone's going to make a mod based off of Fabio? Sometime in the future, like whenever Smash Ultimate is like new and shit and everybody's playing their ass off it, someone's going to make a mod of Fabio.
Oh, that would be interesting. I think it would be really funny to see that.
It's definitely gonna happen.
Just like as he's whipping both his hair.
If you can get Kermit the Frog to be fucking Ryu in Smash 4, I'm pretty sure you can get Fabio as Simon Belmont.
Oh, did that?
Yeah, someone literally did that. It looks pretty funny. Just watch oh shit, I forgot who actually made a video on it.
It's okay, I'll find it.
Nintendo. Was it Nintendo? Yeah, Nintendo probably did that.
Oh, Nintendo. I like Nintendo. It's funny.
Yeah, so next, King K. Rool. Now,
this madman finally did it.
Now,
he finally added King K. Rool.
In the very first Sludcast, the first two characters we added were Ridley and King K. Rool, and I was like, I had doubts that Ridley was ever gonna be in a Smash game, but I knew that they should have fucking King K. Rool.
I was just like, I don't know, I was surprised as soon as I saw because the way they presented it was like, oh, here's Mario against Bowser, here's Link versus Ganondorf, Kirby versus Ganon, and then they show off King Dedede, and not King Dedede, they show off Donkey Kong, and it's like, oh shit, oh shit, and then it's like King Dedede, which is voiced by Sakurai, so it's basically Sakurai just trolling us.
Basically. And King Dedede to me has always been like the master troll character in Smash Bros. Why do you think I love this character back in Brawl?
Yeah, freaking Gordo. Gordos and Brawl were OP.
I mean, the Gordos in Smash... I'm curious. I need more Dedede gameplay in Smash Ultimate because I need to know how he's going to play. We're going to do that whole Gordo thing again? I don't know. Point is, King K. Rool does look pretty solid. I mean, he looks like one of those traditional heavies that isn't going to probably do much, but I like his movesets.
He looks to be like a zoner.
I do like his movesets. They were pretty entertaining. I think my favorite part is when, he's literally dressed like a pirate shooting a cannon.
Yeah, I love his animation. There's this one, I'll send it to you right now, it's his ground animation, and it was, in the trailer they showed King K. Rool trying to grab a banana, but then Villager pocketed it, and then his big eye was just bulging out of his head. It's so funny. I'm going to see right now. But you know if you receive it. And I also love his trophies. And it's just everyone's been needing the shit out of it.
So moving on, we both agree that both King K. Rool. Do you think Simon Belmont was a pretty solid choice to add in the roster?
For Konami representative, yes. Castlevania was really popular back in the NES and SNES days of Nintendo, and I think if they were going to add another Konami rep, it should have been Simon Belmont. Yeah, just like how if they were going to add another Capcom rep, it makes perfect sense for it to be Ryu, or for Sega, Bayonetta makes perfect sense as well.
Oh shit! Everybody has 2 reps now.
Yeah, everyone has 2 reps except Square Enix, which, Nintendo, if you are watching, which I 100% doubt it, but if you are, the slightest chance that you are, maybe you can put in my boy Gino, just saying.
I was thinking Sora, but okay.
Sora's owned by Disney completely. I checked the thing.
Okay, then Gino then.
Yeah. Because otherwise people are like, I want Mickey Mouse.
Well, I want my Disney rep. I want my Sora, and then I want my King Mickey.
Yes.
That's all I want. Forget Goku.
They can't have some random ass moveset.
Yeah. Well, now as for the Echo Fighters that have been announced, let's start with Dark Samus.
Yeah. So. Dark Samus, according to the Smash Bros website, Dark Samus is going to be a lot floatier than than regular Samus, and she doesn't seem to have any differences outside of just being floatier and maybe some animations.
Okay.
I think she'll be a good aerial character from what we've seen so far.
One of the good things about these Echo Fighters, which I was probably going to get into after we talked about all three of them, none of them seem to, at least except Richter, but Dark Samus and Chrom, for instance, they don't seem to be literal clones anymore. Like, these Echo Fighters can have some differences between their real counterpart.
Yeah, which changes from what we originally thought of Echo Fighters, which, we originally thought that they were just going to be, like, straight-on clones. Like, literally same hitboxes, same hurt boxes, but they only have, like, smaller differences, like how Lucina doesn't have a tipper, or how you can't tilt Dark Pit's arrows, things like that. But now they're just changing it to, I think, they have to have, like, the majority of the things similar, instead of just like half, like how you would with a semi-clone like Roy or Ganondorf.
Which is pretty funny. Like, I get we have these new Echo Fighters and everything, but like, take that out, we still have a few other characters that should fall into those categories, but are like their own characters, like Young Link, Roy, and Pichu and stuff like that. Yeah, which I find pretty ironic that there are some characters that would also fall into these categories. That's perfectly well too, but like, they're still like their own characters. And Chrom, ironically, was like teased back in Smash 4 of being too similar to Ike, and yet he's a Roy Echo Fighter.
Yeah.
I saw his uppy to be really similar to Ike, and I'm like, oh, so he's an Echo Fighter of Ike. And then I saw like a lot of like Roy similarities, and it's like, what?
And in the website, he's actually registered as a Roy Echo.
Yeah, so I found Chrom's inclusion to be the most interesting, because Chrom showed the most, at least until Dark Samus shows up, that both Dark Samus and Chrom showed that these Echo Fighters can still be unique in their own regards. So it's like, you can still main these Echo Fighters, or you can still favor the Echo Fighters over like their normal counterparts, because they do have more to them than just being straight up clones. Which makes me a lot more curious to see more of Daisy, seeing as how Daisy doesn't really act the same as Peach, really.
Yeah, we've only seen, the most that we've seen is like 20 seconds, a 20-second clip that is in the Smash Bros. Website, and a little bit during E3.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much all of Daisy.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see more of Daisy, and who knows, maybe Shadow the Hedgehog will actually be... This actually makes me a lot happier for people who want Shadow in the game, because I actually do see Shadow becoming an Echo Fighter, seeing as how Knuckles replaced Shadow as the assist trophy. Shadow can be an Echo Fighter and still be unique at the same time, so it's like, it makes people who probably prefer Shadow over Sonic to actually play Shadow without maining Sonic in a way.
Yeah, like, have like Chaos Control as like an up special, or maybe Chaos Spear as like a side special.
Which is cool, because like one of my problems with Sonic is that most of his moves are just spin dash.
Yeah, they're very into the spin dash.
So it's like he's never really been my favorite to play as. But like Shadow, I can see them being a lot more unique and creative, and I did not want him as an Echo Fighter if he was just going to play exactly like Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a bit of a disservice to the character.
Yeah.
If you play exactly like Sonic. But, I mean, you could say the same thing about Dark Samus, but even then they made some changes for her as well, so...
Yeah, I'm at least pleased to see that Dark Samus is pretty different than Samus. I'm not sure, like, so not really too big on Metroid, so like I don't really know everything of what she is. I would assume she's pretty much accurate.
Not necessarily. I saw a couple of I looked into Dark Samus' character after they revealed her, and I saw a couple of boss fights, and basically how she is as an assist trophy is pretty accurate to how is actually more accurate to how she is in the Metroid Prime games than how she is as a playable character, which I found really funny, because she does summon like these tentacles from the ground. And she has a rapid fire ability, but I can understand like how they couldn't, do some of the things that she did in Assist Trophy. For her being an Echo, it would probably take up some extra development time.
One of the best. At least we have more than two Metroid reps for once. Like we have 2 more. And ironically, they're all tied to the same. Like 3 of them are tied to the same character, and we have like 1 unique character.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at least glad that Metroid now has more reps than back then only having 2.
Same. I'm really happy for Metroid fans because Metroid is like one of Nintendo's like better selling franchises. Like that don't really have much representation in Smash Bros. Like for instance, like it was mostly like Metroid and Donkey Kong that were like that, but like you see like Zelda, Mario, well not really Zelda and Pokemon that have like an appropriate amount of reps. And then you also have other franchises like Kirby is also appropriate, but it's like Metroid and like Donkey Kong are like the black sheep of Smash Bros. Representation. So it's good to see that they're getting some love.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, DK's another one with King K. Rool adding him. And I feel like Dixie Kong might be an Echo Fighter for Diddy.
Same.
So
I feel like the only differences would probably be like maybe some tilts, like would use Diddy's hair, or maybe all the attacks that would use Dixie's hair, my bad. And all the attacks that use Diddy's tail could utilize Dixie's hair as well.
Right.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe she'll actually have Donkey Kong's up special, but replace it with like a hair spin or something like that. I think that would be interesting.
Or we can have Dixie just steal Diddy Kong's jetpack. It's quicker and easier.
That's true. Mm.
Yeah. Before we get to the stages, I'm just like pretty interested in like thinking like, you know, I'm actually now more excited. Back then I was like very nitpicky with the Echo Fighters, but now I'm actually kind of excited to see more because we still get to see more characters get represented in the series. And even though they're not their own character, quote unquote, you can still have fun with most of these characters. It definitely makes this game a lot more, have more diversity in its roster.
Yeah, I really like that too, and especially like how they're treating them as they are. They're treating them as Echo Fighters, treating them as clones. They're not passing them off as, oh look, an entirely new character, like they've been doing for the previous iteration of Smash Bros.
Yeah, to be fair, I think Smash 4 personally is the one that handled it the worst in my opinion because they just literally initially added Dark Pit, Lucina, and Dr. Mario as costumes initially, and then they were like, fuck it, make them characters. And then
Lucina doesn't have a tipper in her game. But then again, I don't even think Marth has a tipper in his own games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about Marth's debuts Fire Emblem games, seeing as how, like, all the Fire Emblem games before Awakening. No, I mean, I actually like Radiant Dawn. Like, the ones with Ike as well. But, the first Fire Emblem game I really got into was Awakening. And, like, the older ones are pretty difficult. Like, unless you're a veteran Fire Emblem player, you probably won't really enjoy the older Fire Emblem games. But like, so pretty much before Awakening, I have like zero knowledge of. But I don't remember I don't think there's a tipper mechanic in Marth's game at least.
No, I don't think there was. I think to my knowledge, the only reason why they added it was to make it seem like his fighting style was based off of fencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in fencing, most fencing swords, like the Estoc or the Rapier, are bladeless or edgeless rather, which means that there is no edge, there's no cutting edge on the blade, but rather have like a pointed tip for stabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's mostly that they do, but it still mostly relies on stabbing and thrusting. Similar to Marth.
Marth has to rely on stabbing.
Yeah.
To win. But as much as I'm happy with these Echo Fighters, I'm not sure if either of them are characters that I'll necessarily pick up. They look like they have a lot of potential, but probably not my cup. I think out of them all, I think I might try Simon Belmont. Well, I mean, actually, no. I'm definitely going to try out Chrom, but I'm not sure if Chrom will be, like, one of my serious characters. Who knows?
I'll try out everyone in this game. Everyone just seems so much fun.
No, I know, and, but, like, in terms of characters...
wanted in Smash Bros.
I mean, but in terms of characters that I'll definitely be, like, using seriously, I'm not sure these characters will fall into that category. I think Chrom will be the closest one that will, seeing as how he plays like 2 Fire Emblem characters that I did play seriously initially. So I think he might be. I'm definitely gonna try out King K. Rool, and hopefully he'll be my new like troll character, like King DDD was back in Brawl.
Yeah. It's like, yo, I heard you like Marth, so here's an extra Marth on top of that Marth.
Yeah. So I'll let you handle the stages, because quite honestly, the stages were easily the things I cared about the least, since like everything is gonna have a battlefield form, and I think when Smash Ultimate comes out, I think it's generally gonna be focused on the battlefield forms more so. So in terms of stages, I really didn't look into much. But I think easily my favorite thing about them is that now you can turn off hazards, which adds a lot more diversity in casual play now, which is something I needed at least.
Yeah,
but
I agree as well.
I'm gonna let you take the spotlight with the stages.
Okay, I won't be long really. I'm just gonna be talking about like what we have listed, which isn't much. So the first thing we need to talk about is stage morph. Now, stage morph, I think is really cool for casual play. I don't see it being used at all in competitive play. I think it's interesting. I think it could definitely, lend to some really funny KOs. And I just think it'd be overall and adds, a breath of fresh air when it comes to casual Smash playing.
I'll give credit to Smash 4 for the 8-player Smash, because most of the stages in 8-player Smash do turn off the hazards. Like, I think one that comes to my mind is Kalos' Pokemon League, where they don't have the stages like turning into random stuff based on like the gyms and stuff, or the Elite Four, my mistake. The other one is Midgar, that also turns off like all the crazy stuff that happens. So like,
and Sphere, which gets rid of Ridley and all the other Metroids that show up.
So I'll give credit that Smash 4 technically started this, but I like that they take this approach, because there are stages I do like, but the hazards kind of make it annoying. Like, I love Halberd, I love Bridge of Eldin, and a lot of stages that have hazards, but they've just been annoying when there are hazards. Hell, I actually like Spear Pillar if I don't get any of the space legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like, I'm glad that they are actually considering this this option, considering that they were like, no, we don't want to be like PlayStation All Stars, and I'm like, you can still do this and not be PlayStation All Stars.
Plus, I feel like a lot of PlayStation All Stars stages are really similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about the missing stages. Now, a lot of the missing stages from Smash Bros. Seem to be vertical and horizontal scrollers. So, like, I forget what I think it's called Jungle Falls from Brawl, Hallgate Floats, the Ice Climber stage from Melee. Those have been cut, and I can kind of understand why, because like no one liked those stages at all, except Pokefloats. Some people like Pokefloats, but everyone hated all the other ones.
I do have a soft spot for Pokefloats, to be fair.
Yeah, and also they're also getting rid of some of the stages that were similar to other stages, like I think this is Sector Z was removed, which is very similar to Corneria.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sector Z was from Smash 64.
Yeah, there was one stage that was very similar to Brinstar from Smash 64 or Melee. I don't remember which one. That was removed as well. And then we also have Pyrosphere, which was removed. So for those of you who don't know, Pyrosphere was the stage Ridley appeared in Smash Bros. Where he appeared as a boss. And now that Ridley is playable, I'm pretty sure there's a reason why they're not adding Pyrosphere to Smash 4. I mean, not to Smash Ultimate. It would be weird. Even though that Ridley is a clone of the Ridley that is playable, it's still fucking weird.
Have Ridley versus Ridley.
Yes. It's like, I am your father. No, it's not possible.
But yeah, a shitload of stages, shitload of counter picks. This game is gonna last a pretty long time.
The Smash community is going to have a fun time deciding which stages are competitive. and which stages are not.
I personally think they are going to stick with the Battlefield forms because a lot of people generally prefer the Battlefield stages as competitive play. Like, you know, next to Smashville, one of the better stages are stages that are pretty similar to Battlefield, like, well, of course, Battlefield and, what's the other one? Dreamland 64. So either just keep it very simple or just keep everything Battlefield form.
Yeah, but you can also see the same thing for Final Destination stages. Like, Final Destination was, like, the big competitive stage that everyone talked about. That was the one stage that always came to mind when talking about competitive play. And
really, it's like one of the. Ironically, it's like one of the furthest ones for me.
Really, that's interesting.
I mean, the reason why I do think about Final Destination is because of all the memes. Like, I don't really understand why people thought that Final Destination was like this showdown ground battle like thing that will decide. And if you win, you're clearly better than the other. But like the problem is, there's like a lot of characters that don't really benefit from straight ground battles. Unless you're a zoner. And that's why people hated For Glory, because it was just full of, like, zoners, like Lynx, Lucarios, and like, Robins and shit like that, and nobody liked it because it seemed less about who was the better player and more like who was the better zoner. I myself was a guilty pleasure because I used to be a Lucario main, but back then, like, it was a mess. And if you weren't either of those, you were probably a Little Mac, who obviously benefited from ground gameplay. But, like, take a character in Battlefield, and the circumstances are completely reverse.
Yeah,
and most
like
people,
high mobility, like Zero Suit or Sheik, do incredibly well in Battlefield.
And most people generally prefer, at least most people from competitive Smash generally prefer the ones with platforms, myself included. Like, you almost, unless it's Melee, like, I think Melee was the one that kind of implemented Final Destination, the best one. In terms of like its stage layout.
They didn't have many zoners. The only ones that really come to mind are Link, Zelda, and Samus.
Yeah, but personally, like, I just think the Battlefield forms are definitely going to be the way of the future when it comes to competitive Smash. But I see a few stages also coming in mind. Like, everybody loves Smashville, so that stage is definitely going to be in the game and like competitively. Like, Smashville's been a fan favorite since Brawl.
Yeah. So.
Is that it for the stages?
Let's see. No, there's I forgot to talk about Dracula's Castle, which I wrote it down here as Dracula's Tower, my mistake. So I don't see Dracula's Castle being competitive, even if you toggle the hazards, seeing as how it has walls, and it has, I think the stairs can lead to the blast zone. I'm not sure. Kind of similar to Shadow Moses Island, another Konami stage, might I add. But I don't see it in competitive. But now, talking about Dracula's Castle, there's also the bosses that, appear and that were announced in this direct, which are Dracula and Rathalos. Now, when you look at Dracula's Castle stage, when Dracula appears, it's completely flat. All the floor leads to the what's it called? To the blast zone, and you even see in a lot of clips you see only one character fighting Dracula. Like, you don't see like a match between, like, say, Lucario and Cloud, and then Dracula appears. It's like, here's Dracula and then here's Lucario, or here's Dracula and here's Cloud. Like, you don't see two characters except until we saw Simon and Richter, which leads a lot of people to believe, that and the Rathalos stage, which is very similar in that we only saw like one character fighting Rathalos, or at most two. So that leads a lot of people to believe that there's going to be a sort of story mode in Smash Brothers, which I personally don't think that there's going to be a story mode in the same vein as Subspace, but I think there will be some kind of an adventure mode, based on how we have these bosses.
To be fair, out there, I told you that I got a new Wii recently, so it's really for my sister, but like I was able to play Brawl a little bit, and I went through the Subspace. I'm not gonna be a Subspace hater in a moment, but like, I do admit that Subspace does get very repetitive.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the same side-scrolling gameplay from start to finish. And like, while I do enjoy playing through Subspace, I do think that adventure mode was a really fun gameplay. But like, one thing I do want to see in Smash Ultimate is sort of the same concept as adventure mode. Just something different for each character. Now, I don't really want them to just only explore the worlds that they're in it, because I would assume they would be pretty damn short, and that would not be my cup of tea. But like something that leads them into their world or something, and maybe them crossing paths through it's like a franchise that they were very similar with or rivaled against. Like have Mario go through Sonic's world, or Sonic go through Mario's world. I don't know, something like that, which something like that is something I'll definitely give credit for if they ever do try and revisit adventure mode, because I've always loved adventure mode, and I do like Subspace, but I'm not sure if I'm really ready for an entirely new story mode, juggling all these, what is it now, like, okay, we had 65,
67 characters,
like almost 70 characters they'd have to juggle with, and it's like, I'm not sure if we're ready for a story mode. If we ever get one as DLC in the future with, you know, well written and everything, sure, but I mean, I'll take that. But I think adventure mode is probably the way I'll prefer it. Which is
give me
fun.
1 second. You keep talking. I just have to do something.
No, that's pretty much it. Like, it's not that I don't want a Subspace. It's just that I don't want it to be exactly like it. Like,
yeah, I don't think it'll be like Subspace. The one thing I really did like about Subspace is that you got to see all of these Nintendo characters interacting with one another. Like, we saw Mario wanting to beat the shit out of Link because he thought that he killed Peach.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa with Zelda. So, we also saw how Kirby, really cares for Peach and Zelda. We saw how King Dedede was basically a hero all along.
we saw Meta Knight having a duel with Lucario. A race with ice climbers and a duel with Lucario at the very top of the mountain.
Yeah, and then the ice comes with the scary, and Armada like, oh shit.
I do admit, like, Subspace is really fun, and I do admit that I like these character interactions, but I'm not sure if it's going to be easy. Like, this isn't Infinity War. We didn't have 10 years to develop all the 70-plus characters that are going to be in here.
And the relationships with one another.
So it's like, either it's going to be, like, Kingdom Hearts 3 being 80 hours long, or something. I don't know. Like I said, an adventure mode seems like the better option. But I also do show a little bit of concern for that, too, because they might make it way too short. Like, I don't want it to just explore their world, and that's it. Like, and some cutscenes will be nice, too. But, like I said, just be creative, but don't make it too short. I think I'll accept with whatever you come up with.
Yeah, and also another problem that arises with another Subspace, like a Subspace 2 or a story mode in that vein, is that when Sakurai was doing Subspace, he wanted another studio to do the Subspace story, and how his team would instead focus on the competitive aspects or the gameplay aspects of, Smash Brothers. That didn't end up happening in the studio. I think they ended up bailing, or they never agreed to it. So Sakurai's team had to literally divide themselves into to do both the story mode and the actual gameplay, and that's what led to a lot of the imbalances of the character roster, like how Meta Knight is OP as all hell, and how Snake's up tilt is literally Satan.
You see, so now you hear that from the man himself, from the slut himself. Brawl was probably gonna be a better competitive game at one point, but the staff team says no. Honestly, that would have changed history so much if Brawl became better, I guess, competitively.
Yeah.
Though maybe it wouldn't be unbalanced, but I'm not sure if it would still be in the same slow gameplay.
Oh, and it's still benefit to play, but I feel that it wouldn't be as imbalanced as it is, where you have all these top tiers that are just so far up and so unreachable for the rest of the characters. Instead of like how it is in Melee and to an extent Smash 4, where there's a bit more of a balance.
To be fair, I can more defend Melee since Melee was not developed as a competitive game in mind. Smash 4 was, so I'd say Smash 4 was a bigger guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me thinks it was like, because it was DLC, they didn't focus on balancing that much, they just focused on like making a good character. And they ended up making like kind of OP characters. The only one that's like good but not OP is like Corrin. That's about it.
Oh, I mean,
of the DLC, that is. Of like the new DLC characters, not mentioning like Mewtwo or Roy, because those were characters that were pre-established with like already existing movesets.
Not only that, but like, I wouldn't really. I'd say like, if we're talking about like how good the DLCs were, like almost half of them were pretty lackluster when they first came out. Like Mewtwo was considered bottom tier when he first came out until they actually buffed him completely. Lucas is probably in the same exact extent as Ness, as like in terms of success. Like people enjoyed the character, but as soon as people figured out how to fight both of those characters, they don't really place anywhere. Roy, a lot of people swore on their lives. A lot of people and their mothers thought that Roy was really good in this game.
I swear he's good.
And people still argue that Roy is pretty solid. I do think Roy is pretty solid, but like
I think Roy's like mid-tier or high mid-tier. That's about it.
Thing is, like because Roy has no success, people label him as a bottom tier, like literally as the second worst Fire Emblem character or the worst, right next to Ike.
Nah, I see him as mid-tier. I think with his tool set, he is mid-tier. I don't think many people play as him. Mostly because Bayonetta exists.
But like you also got to take into account that his recovery's pretty butt, and he's easy to edge guard, and he has like poor matchups to like half the cast. But like he has
to get up close, but his speed isn't even top 10.
And not only that, like the fact that the hilt of the sword, like not the tip of the sword, is pretty much the sour like the tip of the sword is his sour spots, and yet the hilt of the sword is more like where his strong attacks are. So he has to get really close, and that spells trouble when it comes to characters like Rosalina.
Yeah, especially with that speed, and how it's also contradictory to most sword characters who are pretty good at mid-range combat like Marth and Link.
And then Ryu's pretty solid. I'm not really sure if he's like... I mean, he's considered to be one of the best in the games, but like not by a big margin. Like he's really solid in play, but that's about it. Ryu's just solid. Like only a handful of players are able to make him work out just fine.
Characters who I didn't think was gonna end up being that good, but he ended up actually being really solid, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Ryu had a lot of potential for sure, but I never really thought he was going to be like this solid. And then of course the other three characters, like we don't really talk about either of them.
It's funny because Bayonetta and Cloud are kind of OP in their own games.
Yeah, but that's their own games. They're in their own games. Cloud, I wouldn't really say is like annoying in singles, but in doubles pretty much dominates the meta. Which I will admit, I do like their approach with doubles. Now that Smash 4 is in its dying days, they completely banned Cloud in doubles. So now they're just testing the waters on how the viewership and the playing, like how many people would actually be playing doubles if Cloud was banned. And needless to say, it was exactly like people thought, that not many people are going to be competing if their character that they happen to main gets banned. Mewtwo King is one of those players who mained Cloud. And of course, Mewtwo King is more of a doubles player in Smash 4 now. So the fact that Cloud is banned, Mewtwo King barely plays Smash 4 doubles and is focusing more on Melee. So it is exactly what many people thought was going to happen. So I'm actually kind of glad they didn't ban Bayonetta. And it's Smash 4's last day, so there's not really much to lose in my opinion. So I do like their approach. Hopefully all the problems with Smash 4 do get fixed in Smash Ultimate, but based on what we've seen from the game, people genuinely seem to like Smash Ultimate more than Smash 4, which makes me pretty happy.
Smash 4 came out, everyone thought it was like, well, not everyone, but like at this before Smash 4 came out, everyone was like, oh, this is gonna be the perfect Smash game. When in reality, it was just kind of like.
But then again, back when Smash 4 came out, not many people were able to try it out. Meanwhile, this game, people are able to play it multiple times. And not only in E3, but CEO and Evo had demos of the game so that more people can play it. And more people seem to enjoy the game through its demo alone. When Smash 4 3DS came out, a lot of people were already complaining about Little Mac. And come on, Mewtwo King thought Bowser was the best character.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember Frank and I was reading an article of the 3DS because people got their hands on the Japanese version, and Mewtwo King said that Bowser was possibly the best character. Also, people thought Duck Hunt was top tier.
Yeah.
So it's
and I remember when people thought Rosalina was like the best, even though she still is one of the best characters in the game. She's just
Yeah, I remember Rosalina is still the bane of my existence, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. But early 3DS days were pretty much the dark days of Smash 4. But a lot of people, even people who played Smash 4 competitively, like even Zero, who is the best Smash 4 player to this day, says that they all enjoy Smash Ultimate.
Yeah,
and
that Smash Ultimate is doing so well. In terms of how it's stayed with the hype train, even though they've already showed pretty much almost all of their cards.
Yeah. All we just need is the game to actually come out and see where the game holds up. The game looks like it will hold up because at least this game looks like everybody is listening. It's not removing anything too important. It's giving you the option to keep whatever you think is right. If you think rage mode is broken, turn it off, because that's something that Zero seems to have discovered, but a lot of people noticed that there was a rage toggle, which means you can turn on and off rage mode.
Yeah, I was hearing about that, and I guess we could talk about that now. There's this, in the Direct, we saw, when they were showing the stage morph option, they saw this option called Custom Balance, and the Custom Balance logo was almost the exact same as the Rage logo, which was a stick figure on its hands and knees, surrounded by fire.
Yeah.
So people think that might be the Rage toggle, but the thing about that is that it's called Custom Balance instead of Rage. We saw in that same section, in that same clip, that there was a hazards toggle, and it didn't say hazards toggle, it said hazards, and then it was on and off.
But then again, when you really think about the effects that Rage Mode's had, Rage Mode is if you look at the Smash 4 meta, Rage Mode clearly has a big impact on the meta.
Oh no, I'm not saying it didn't. I'm not saying it didn't, but it's just
I can see why. The reason why I can understand why it says balance whatever the hell and not rage toggle, because I think custom balancing would mean that this is just something that can affect the meta completely. If you think Smash Bros. Rage Mode helps the game, then clearly you would want it on, and then DK would be great again or something. But if you think that gets in the way and that ruins the balancing of the game, then turn it off. It seems to affect the overall balance of the game. That's why it was called Custom Balance. That's just my opinion on it. They didn't really touch upon it. It's just something that a lot of people noticed and are currently speculating. But the fact that they use what seems to be the Rage toggle icon is what really catches my attention. When a viewer of Zero discovered it, it's like having a massive erection for a moment, because it's Zero even admitted that Rage Mode is the one gameplay function that he hated the most out of Smash 4. And if there's an option to get rid of it, then it's a godsend. It's God has spoken to us.
Yeah. I think there will definitely be a lot of tournaments that will still have Rage in it, but I think on the same side of the coin, you'd also have a lot of tournaments that have rage mode off.
There'll definitely be a lot of experimenting with it. Like, a lot of tournaments will probably... Like, just back when Smash 4 came out, that everybody thought that 3 stocks was going to be the way to go. But then 2 stocks eventually took over. We can try and see how rage mode plays out. And if people don't seem to like it, then turn it off. You know, Smash Ultimate looks like the game that's going to be experimented a lot. And a lot of people are going to see what they like, what they don't like, to make it into the definitive game. In fact, it'll probably go through the most changes out of every Smash game. Because I guess you can argue Melee has changed a lot. Melee has easily changed a lot compared to its like early competitive days. But this is a game that I feel like is going to add more shit. Like, unlike Smash 4, which only added like a handful of things. This game's going to have balance patches, DLC characters, possibly stages, and a lot of people just playing around with the new settings to see what works and what doesn't work. And I think that's why Smash Ultimate will definitely have a longer lifespan.
That's a lot longer than Smash 4.
Yeah, I completely agree.
As long as Melee, I don't think Smash Ultimate will replace Melee. Because personally, I don't think Melee is replaceable unless Nintendo actually makes a Project M-esque game.
Which will never happen.
I don't think Melee will be replaced anytime soon.
Melee, I don't think is the type of game that we're just afraid will die, really. Melee is never going to go away. And when you really think about it, when you have a game as big as Melee, it's never going to go away. But, like, I think the only talk about it, and this is sort of involving the Grand Finals controversy of Smash 4 on EVO, is that more people are just wondering how long will Melee last in evolution? Because, you know, a lot of the FGC hated the fact that there's 2 Smash games on EVO in the main stage, when games like Street Fighter only has like 1. Even though Street Fighter has had histories of having 2 titles back then, like, it just so happens that the latest evolutions seem to favor more the Smash games, as they always have had 2, which is Melee and Smash 4. So now we're obviously going to have Melee and Smash Ultimate. That's really the closest thing to Melee's gonna die, quote unquote. But like, Melee won't die if it gets removed from EVO, but it definitely helps if Melee maintains itself in EVO. Because then if it doesn't, we're gonna have to depend on the newer games, and we don't want like another Brawl-esque game, like a game that's nowhere near gonna be in the same quality as Melee to take the scene as the main Smash game. So having both Melee and Ultimate in EVO is definitely going to count. And even if Melee isn't, Melee's still going to continue as in the future. Like, it's like a lot of tournaments sponsor Melee. Nintendo's giving all their full support to the Melee players. And even, like...
look at Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 is like one of the oldest Street Fighter games, and it's still played competitively to this day.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, to be exact.
That's it.
Turbo and Third Strike actually got released on the PS4, so it's like it adds more reason to go back to those games and be competitive in both games. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Third Strike is considered to be the best Street Fighter game.
Yeah. Plus, I feel Smash just ends up bringing together more people than Street Fighter could. Seeing as how it is, you know, a culmination of like different franchises, a crossover between different franchises, plus how it's a lot less complicated than, you know, traditional fighters like Street Fighter or Tekken, or I don't know, like I'm thinking of Killer Instinct. That's the one, Killer Instinct. It's just a lot less complicated than that, so you also get more competitors for it, and I just feel like that's what lends to Smash Bros.'s popularity the most.
Yeah, and even Smash 64 still has some relevance. Like, a lot of tournaments are still sponsoring that game. So if you can still sponsor the first Smash game, yeah, Smash 64 is still relevant. But it's like, so if tournaments can still host the first Smash Bros. Game despite its dated mechanic, Melee is definitely not going anywhere.
Same. Yeah, I totally agree.
But enough rambling. I guess that's like, we were just rambling on Smash's like future, I guess. I wanted to talk, like, we got the rules and settings, custom. We already talked about Rage Mode, which is the custom balance one. But there's also a Final Smash meter, which is another thing that I feel like they can be experimented with. Because Final Smash meters are nowhere near as strong as normal Final Smash from, like, the Smash Ball. Which means you could potentially have, like, your own super move, which, you know, makes the games a lot more intense. Like, a lot of my favorite fighting games generally have a super move, like, you know, Mortal Kombat has the X-Rays, Injustice has them, Street Fighter has them. Like, it adds a lot of diversity. Smash will definitely feel like an actual fighting game if it has its own Final Smashes. But, like, and the good thing is that there's not a lot of, like, the really stupid ones, like Landmaster back in Brawl and Smash, like Fox and Falco's Landmaster Final Smash.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be more like, you know, literal supers. Like,
yeah, they're getting rid of all the transformation-based Final Smashes like Supersonic, Giga Bowser, and instead replacing them with either trapping Final Smashes, stage-wide, or directional.
So this is something I'm also really excited for, because I want to see if it does make it, how far, like, if it does end up becoming a tournament thing, this is something completely different with Smash, and you know I like me something that's different.
Same. I'm really excited for this. I think it'll be, I think Final Smashes will definitely be considered and competitive. I don't want to say that it'll definitely be a part of a mainstay in competitive Smash Ultimate, but I really want it to be.
I think I'll even play it. I think I'll even play around with it, even if it's not like tournament legal, I guess, because it looks like it'll still be like a decent, like, addition for the meta.
Yeah.
You know, going back a little bit about like talking about like the stages and the items and stuff, I'm actually pretty excited to even play this, like, sort of the 8-player Smash thing, because with the whole stage hazard turning off thing, it seems like, you know, we can. It'll probably definitely be the most accessible game in the series for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, stage hazards. Okay, so there's one other thing that we can actually talk about is there's another mode that's blurred out during the Direct that Nintendo's like, you know, we could tell you, but we won't.
Yeah, there was one on the dashboard that was completely blurred out. And there's no chance on deciphering it, seeing as how the blur was literally just like 6 or 9 pixels. So I don't think anyone's gonna be able to decipher that.
It's fucking subspace!
It's subspace! But the other one was the green mode that was really pointed out by Sakurai in the Direct. A Twitter user by the name of, and I'm sorry for butchering this, I do not speak French, Letarde, was able to decipher that this mode is apparently called Spirits. Now, a lot of people are speculating this is like a new adventure mode. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think you think that's the case either.
To be fair, I honestly thought that one of them would just be like the traditional Wi-Fi connectivity.
Yeah, but we already have that one. What do you do?
Yeah, I know. But I was like thinking more like a cross-play sort of thing with Wii U owners, because there's like a Wii U icon on the far right to that same exact screen you're talking about. So I'm like, Curiosity.
Yeah, I think it'll be something to connect like through the Wii U, similar to how with the 3DS version of Smash 4. You can play, what was it? You could actually,
play with your 3DS.
Yeah, with your 3DS. So I think that's going to be the case with, like, the Wii U, and what's it called? And with Smash Ultimate. The one on the dashboard, I literally have no idea what it is. It could be anything. But also, just to point out, just to sort of add more evidence to the fact that there isn't, that won't be an adventure mode. Self-Faced Emissary was placed as one of the tabs for the solo game mode, which is where you found classic mode and all-star mode. So I think if they were going to do a Self-Faced or a different adventure mode, it would probably be in the Games and More section rather than just on the menu right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they did that with Smash Tour, no one liked Smash Tour, and everyone hated the Smash 4 menu, so they're probably not gonna draw inspiration from that at all.
Yeah, I personally don't really have an opinion on that. So I hope it's something, whatever it is, I just hope it's something good and juicy and sexy, not Smash Tour, because if it's Smash Tour, there will be blood.
So what other characters do you think they're going to add and possibly the next Direct if they are going to do one? Some rumors say that there's going to be one in October, but Nintendo hasn't confirmed anything about it.
A Halloween-esque character.
What?
A Halloween-esque character. Bring Jack Skellington into this, that way we can have an excuse for a Disney rep.
Yeah, we can have Sora in the game, finally.
Yeah, as for characters, I mean, to be fair, I'm not really... I can't really request any characters personally because either I'd be extremely biased for a franchise or I just don't really have one in mind. Honestly, at this point, I think the characters that I personally wanted are already in the game. I guess if you really want me to pick one, I would be really happy to see Shadow as an Echo Fighter. Believe it or not, despite me not being a big fan of the Sonic series, I feel like Shadow is like the one I see the most potential in, and he can easily be the most fun character out of all the Smash characters, personally. If he's solid or not, I don't know, but I'm not going for a character that's gonna be considered as the best. I want a really solid character, and I feel like if Shadow was in it, Shadow would definitely be that, probably one of the solid characters.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I really don't have much of an opinion. I think the characters that are already in the game I'm happy with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Characters that I would like to see are some of the other fan favorites that were heavily requested during the ballot days and also during Smash 4 speculation. And those just really being Geno and Isaac.
Another Xenoblade character would be nice too.
What?
Another Xenoblade character would be nice.
I want to see Rex and Pyra in the game so badly.
The worst part is I can't really give my opinion on it because I've never played any of the Xenoblade games, but more diversity on that series because that's a series that's getting better and better.
And it's definitely proving itself to be kind of like the next Fire Emblem in the sense that it's one of those franchises that didn't really get any releases for an American audience, but have slowly becoming more and more popular. Some people, apparently Sakurai finalized the Smash roster in I think it was late 2016. So I don't know. I think that was during the development stages of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I'm not sure if they'll add Rex and Pyra to the base roster, but I think they'll add them for DLC. I think they will. I think they'll be a good character.
Yeah, but keep in mind, we don't have the final roster. There's still room for more characters in the future.
Yeah, even on the artwork that they've been using, if you look at the original artwork before they showed off Ridley, the one that they showed off after Ridley was announced, and the one that they showed off after Simon Belmont and all those other characters were announced, you see some of the characters have shifted positions, and so you can easily do that to add more space and the artwork to add the other characters that will be announced later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have this here, but I do want to talk about the side content that was added. I think the side content is, believe it or not, the characters weren't even my favorite thing about the Direct. It was actually the side content that was featured in the Direct, such as the Smash Squad mode, the tournament modes return in this game, and it's to me, this is the type of content that Smash 4 was missing completely.
I agree.
I'll admit, as much as I love what Melee did for Smash in its time, all the side content that it added in such a short period of time. Brawl to me didn't really add so much, but it added subspace, so there's a lot there was some effort into that at least. Smash 4 just added literally nothing except Smash Tour, and I guess its classic mode formula wasn't bad, but like, this was something I would have really liked. Back then, we had like some sort of a small rivalry with these with our classmates when we were in junior year against the seniors, and that's why we hosted the tournaments. This is something I wish we had, because this squad attack mode is sort of like the Iron Man match that Smash players would do back in the early Melee days, and they still do. It's like you have Iron Man battles, crew battles. That was really the one I was looking forward to. Iron Man battles is the same thing, but like you just use a set of different characters as opposed to each player using one character. Everybody shares a stock.
I think that Squad Smash mode will definitely be like a combination of those two modes that you just mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. It can fit in either crew battles or Iron Mans. It seems more familiar for Iron Mans, but I think crew battles can still work. Thing is, I'm curious to know what are the rules that's going to be. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to follow the exact same formula as crew battles were, because crew battles, how they work is that everybody has the same stock. You rally out the total stock. So if it's Melee and you have 5 players, you'll have 20 stocks in total. And the stocks you lose carry over to the next games until you get eliminated. The people who have the most stocks, the crew with the most stocks wins in the end. It's really fun, and it's something that I wish we had a mode that was very embracive on that. And this Squad Smash thing seems like it can work. I'm curious to see what more info we can get before the game's release, but I'm definitely going to be trying that out the most. And I think in terms of people who want to be tryhards and competitive play with me, at least like our casual friends, this could be an interesting mode to use. But yeah, I'm also excited and grateful that tournament mode is back, since that was one of my favorite modes back in Melee and Brawl. Withheld in Full Glory mode in Smash 4, which was I'm glad it's back. I do ask for one thing. If we can make up like rules such as have best 2 out of 3s, because as much as I love tournament mode, I'm not really a big fan of single bracket eliminations, which is something we used to do back in our early tournament days. Not a big fan of single bracket eliminations. Give us, if there was an option for best 2 out of 3s or best 3 out of 5s, which is my personal pick, best 3 out of 5s, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
That's pretty much it. You can listen to music.
Yeah, they showed like this hoochie plugging in her headphones to the Switch, and then she just like hair flipped that she just walked away listening to Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. Luigi's Mansion. It's not like I can just go to YouTube and listen to the music, but I mean, A for effort.
I think it's cool. That way, like, you don't have to download the OSTs into your phone, or like waste data listening to them on YouTube. Like, you can just like listen to them on the go now. I think that's cool.
On the Pokemon Go. Okay. I think that's it for Smash Ultimate. So, I first wanted to talk about the Smash 4 Evo Grand Finals, which actually looking back, I thought it's like pretty obsolete of a topic, but no, that shit happened almost 2 weeks ago. Actually, almost 2 weeks ago. But you saw, okay, I have my personal reasons of disliking it, but since you just found out, or at least since you learned more information about it, what did you think?
I think that all parties are to blame in this situation. Like, I feel that it was pretty, even though like Captain Zack and Mistake are like teenagers, I think they're both like 16, 17.
It wasn't Mistake, it was, what the hell? I'm sorry, but like one of my, another kind of a personal like gripe I do have with the current Smash 4 meta, I'm seeing players winning and I don't even know their names. Lima, I believe that's his name?
Yeah, I think it was Levi. I don't know.
Lima. Hold up. I'll look into it, but you keep talking.
Yeah. So like all these young kids joining in Smash.
Yeah, Lima.
Lemur?
Lima.
Oh, Lima. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a mistake for some reason. I don't know.
Mistake is another one, but like, Mistake is the one that won Genesis, and I'm like, who is this? This is a mistake. Actually, no, he didn't win. He actually didn't win. He actually placed second. MK Leo won. But yeah, it was Lima and Captain Zach.
Yeah. Well, either way, like, I understand that these two are essentially teenagers. Like, they're kids, basically, still. Even though, despite that, I think their behavior in the grand finals was kind of rude. How they would stall. They would do the homie stock thing. And they would just kind of like, I don't know, they would just kind of like purposefully be a dick to everyone watching.
I get that audiences were booing, but you could be the better man.
Act, in a tournament, like you have to be the bigger person in that situation. You have to you just have to be the bigger person. You have to be cordial. You have to be civil with these people. You can't just be like pretending to be like the villain or anything like that.
Leffen tried, and trust me, it did not go his way. He's still considered the villain of Smash, but the thing is, he's less of a dick to people and more like trying to prove like his relevance. And that success, ironically, the villain of Smash actually won Evo this year of Melee.
Yeah! Yay! Yay for Leffen!
So, I don't know about you, but like Leffen was the underdog for me. I've actually, like, ever since he defeated all the 5 gods in 2015, I was like, this boy's gonna win Evo. Like, when Evo 2015 rolled, I was like predicting that Leffen would win. I didn't think Armada or Hungrybox were gonna win. Much to my surprise that they did win. But Leffen finally winning, it was like, yep, I called it. I was one of the first people that said it back then.
Yeah.
So it makes me happy.
I didn't really, what's it called? I didn't keep up with competitive Smash for a bit, mostly because I was in college and I was focusing on getting my grades up. But I'm still like really happy for Leffen that he won.
To be fair, I've only been casually checking out Melee because I haven't really, for that same reason, I haven't really had time to look into Melee too much. But like, I pretty much just gave up on Smash 4 when it comes to competitively because Zero retired and the scene is gonna die the moment Smash Ultimate comes out. Even before Smash Ultimate's announcement, I completely gave up on And it's funny because it's like I was playing Brawl not too long ago with Alec and everybody. And I'm like, you know what? I hate fuck Smash 4. I really like Brawl. I know it's technically the worst one, but fuck off. I like it. It's still fun.
Yeah.
I do think I do think Brawl is the better game in my opinion, but Smash 4 had its moments, but unfortunately this is not what I really wanted for it to end. I did not want it to end with a disappointing, controversial grand finals, because that was the last thing I wanted Smash 4 to have. Another controversial moment. The Genesis 4, what is it, 0.2 knockback bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Smash 4 has had its controversial moments, and it's its dying days until Smash Ultimate comes out. And this is something I did not want. I get Bayonetta as a controversial character. I hate Bayonetta a lot. I don't think she's fun, and I think she easily ruins the single meta. And I
her games, but I just hate the character in Smash.
I agree, but like for me, you will never see me ever hate on someone for picking Bayonetta. Miles, a close friend of ours, actually, well, I've never really played him really, but he tells me that he mains Bayonetta and Lucina. So I'm like, okay, it's like more reason for me to actually practice against Bayonetta, because one of these, or at least prior to what I thought was going to be the definitive Smash at the time, that's why I picked up Mewtwo. Mewtwo has been like one of my best characters against Bayonetta, because like I really cannot fight her with Fox at all. And Pikachu just seems pretty difficult, but like Mewtwo seems to be the go-to character that I was sticking with for Bayonetta for a while. So that's why I've had increased usage of Mewtwo in this game. But I don't know. Like, I'm against the audiences for booing because it's like, you know, you can hate the character, but don't ever hate the player. Like, it's not their fault.
Agree.
It's like, if that was the case, if you can hate the player, then poor me because people hate my King DDD. I would probably be in the same vendetta, and King DDD isn't even the best character in Brawl.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I also think Captain Zack and Lima both acted pretty immature on their end. I do agree that with Esam said that it's not really that big of a deal because, at least in terms of like the future of competitive Smash, because even though the Smash community doesn't get along with Mr. Wizard, the person in charge of Evolution, it still brings viewership. People love to see Smash, and it's still one of the more popular fighting games. And I think this year in particular, Dragon Ball FighterZ was the most popular one, and then Street Fighter and Smash were the second and third. So they bring up viewership. I'm not worried that Smash will never be at EVO because we'll definitely be at EVO for the next God knows how long, until Smash Ultimate is irrelevant, I guess. I don't know. We'll be in EVO next year, trust me. But I do agree with Esam is that I think it more is going to affect on how sponsorships are going to view those players, because in EVO Grand Finals, Nintendo was watching the tournaments because they sponsor them, and we're
booing and we're complaining and we're not slandering. That's the wrong word. They were like being really mean to both the players at the finals.
So I get that point. I get like their side, but I think if they want to be sponsored, because I don't think either of them are sponsored, that would not be the way to go in their behavior.
Yeah.
So
definitely one of the worst moments of the Smash community.
Yeah, way high up there. But believe it or not, EVO as a whole, up until leading up to Grand Finals, was not really that bad. We got a fucking duck hunt in top 8. Are we not going to talk about that?
No, we're just going to talk about the Starlink.
Come on! Hold up, I don't even know the duck hunt's name. That's how much of a focus it was.
That's how much of a focus it was.
I shall look up this man.
Right?
No, not registration number. I meant results. Raito. Congratulations to Raito for placing 7th place at EVO 2018 using Duck Hunt.
Yay!
So,
congratulations, Raito!
See, EVO was not that bad. EVO was pretty interesting.
People are just focusing on like the grand finals, which, yeah, I agree, it's one of the worst moments of the Smash Bros. Community, but still, you need to focus on like the positives as well.
Yeah. Righto. Believe it or not, I was actually trying to keep up with Injustice 2 as well, and I was surprised to see that a lot of games were not streamed in Injustice 2, but someone actually did record most of the matches in his vlog and while vlogging at EVO. So I also want to give like more shout outs to the NRS Studios fighting game community. They are also a very dedicated community, and that also they're just trying the best to get the game grow. And Injustice 2 has pretty much proven to be the most balanced fighting game that they've made. I watched the podcast that they were talking about it, so much respect to the NRS community, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe we'll do a Slugcast on Injustice 2.
That would be interesting. I'll just probably be on, at Black Canary.
Well, for me, it depends. But, like, yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah. That's everything. So, this is still not the last Slugcast. This is not the last Smash Ultimate news that we have. So, whenever we get
doing these until another director, until the game comes out, we'll probably be doing them after new characters get added as well.
Yeah,
this isn't the end.
we'll see what the future holds, and pray that Shadow the Hedgehog will get added. So, and this is actually a pretty interesting Slugcast because we were like arguing for like 5 minutes on the fucking audio that wasn't recording us.
5 minutes? Like an hour.
Right, but like, if it seemed like my volume kept on going up and down, is because Audacity is being a little bitch and keeps going down every time I speak loud as fuck. So, I apologize for that, but I hope you enjoy the Slugcast for the most part. This slut isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon, so whenever another Smash Ultimate news pops up, or like I said, we'll probably talk about other games like Injustice or something.
Kingdom Hearts.
That too, because we still got some Kingdom Hearts 3 news on the horizon. If it gets delayed, we'll do a rant.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a rant on the Kingdom Hearts series. Who knows?
But yeah, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, I want to edit on this that I am still playing through the game on critical mode, and as of today, I've actually gotten past Pride Lands Visit 2, so I'm about to enter Space Paranoids.
Yay!
Critical mode is honestly pretty fun. I really like it.
But I should try critical mode.
You should.
I
trust
any other games to play. Especially since I'm at my dad's place, I don't have any. I don't have my Wii U or my PlayStation 2 on me.
Well,
my 3DS is destroyed basically. So yeah.
Yeah. If there's a reason why we haven't been doing Smash 4 3DS videos, that's one of those reasons. Not to mention Alex's Alex is not really that interested in playing Smash 4 that much.
My copy, it got entirely scratched. I have no idea how. I have a couple of ideas, but I tried fixing it and it didn't work, so I'd have to buy a new one. And I'm saving up for a Switch, so...
Yeah, to be fair, I think all of our time is probably going to be, like, I don't think the 3DS, at least my 3DS I'll probably never touch my 3DS again when I get my Switch, because Smash Ultimate, Pokemon Let's Go, I don't know, like, it's farther away from that. And Dream Drop Distance is on PS4, so I literally have little reason to go to my 3DS. All I need in the Switch is Mario Maker, and then my 3DS is rest in peace.
The Switch just needs to release Kid Icarus Uprising and Bravely Default, and I'm already sold. Not getting my 3DS fixed.
Yeah.
I love Bravely Default, it's so underrated.
I might try it out one of these days. I need something to keep my 3DS's lifespan long, because to be fair, most of my gameplay hours on portable games has been primarily on Pokemon. And like the only other times has been like when Kingdom Hearts Days came out, when Birth by Sleep came out, and when Mortal Kombat 9 came out on Vita and Mortal Kombat Unchained on PSP. So it's like very, very little games on handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why ideally I don't really play a lot of handheld games.
I think the only handheld game that I spent, over 100 hours on was probably like Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Black and White 2.
Pretty much all the Generation 4 Pokemon games for me. And to this extent, I think I've spent some pretty decent time on Black and White. Because we played Black and White for quite some time.
I know I spent about 100 hours on Black and White, but I spent like way more on Black and White 2 because Black and White 2 actually had some post-game stuff. Whereas I feel like Black and White didn't really do much for the post-game.
I agree. Yeah, but I think we played...
Same with X and Y.
I think...
I never got to play Oras because that's around the time that my 3DS got destroyed, so yeah.
Yeah, I admit that the Black... But I think even without the Black 2 side content, I still think we played a lot of Gen 5.
Same.
Despite me getting it... 5. I mean, I played it a lot for someone who got in it late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I did play, and I did enjoy Gen 5. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to take so much time, so we'll see you guys in the next Sludcast, and like I said, with whatever topic we got, we'll come and give you the best.
You'll know it when you see it.
And yeah, let's hope, and let's give a salutations to Smash 4. Good game. But let's get Smash Ultimate out of the way, please. I want it.
Same.
All
Moment
right.
of silence.
Peace.